Hey, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank, and today I'm joined by Thomas.
Hello, everybody.
Thomas, it's been a couple weeks since we've seen you around here. You were off in Hawaii hanging out with a kid. First off, how was your Hawaii trip?
Thanks, man. Yeah, it was good. It was the first time we got the little lad over to Hawaii and met all that family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just weird though. Like, I've been in California since almost 2011, and I think of California as home, but I also think of Hawaii as home. And then to see this little thing I made like stomp around, well, he can't really walk, but you know what I mean, put his feet in like the water and like be places where I grew up was just weird. So good, but weird. I don't know. I think, yeah, if that's a real answer.
You have to go back, of course, when he's able to understand what he's seeing a little bit better. Like Daniel just brought his daughter Rain down to Disneyland, and she's pretty much the same age, and it's like nothing you're gonna see you're gonna remember, but also you want to experience
Totally.
bringing your kid. So it's like this one's for
Yeah.
you, and then in a few years it'll be for them. So it's kind of a back and forth, you know.
That's exactly what me and my wife were saying the whole time, which was like, this trip is just for us to like
Yeah.
remember when he was this small being here and all the aunts and everybody being like, oh, trying to pinch his chubby cheeks. And, this is 100% just for us. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, because Disneyland too, like, I can't wait to bring him. But it's right now, it feels kind of pointless because you're like, he can't appreciate it.
Right.
Like, I don't want to buy him a ticket. He doesn't get to like walk around and eat cotton candy and throw up places. Like, I don't want to,
Yeah, until you can enjoy one of those badass corn dogs, it's just not worth it. That's what
Oh,
you get.
man. Oof.
Oh,
Don't get me
they're so
started on a
good.
corn dog. Love corn dog.
Before we get into the news, first off, this episode is brought to you by our Patreon. If you guys want to go check out our Patreon, we have early release episodes over there. We're gonna have a very cool interview coming out that's not coming out for like nearly a month and a half. I'm gonna release it this week over there so you guys can hear it first. Also, we have 2 conventions coming up that we're gonna have booths at. So we always do the Rancho Cordova Gaming Expo. We'll be there. It's just a really nice place to kind of support the city as they're trying to push esports as an after-school activity for kids who need something to do and want to build a community. So we want to support that. And after that, we have the Capital Creative Showcase that, of course, I'm on the board for, and we have secured so much space for Geek Freaks. So and Distance Learning is coming out too, so they're going to take up space too.
Ooh.
But we have a
Ooh.
stage that we're going to be doing panels on. That we're developing the panels now. We're gonna have, I think it's straight up like 12 feet wide, that's Geek Freaks, and then like another 8 feet that's gonna be Distance Nerding. It's gonna be big. So come on by,
Wow.
hang out with
20
us.
square feet of
Yeah,
the Geek
that's
Freaks Network.
of all geeky goodness. Yeah, and
That's
so
awesome.
we were talking like, should we bring the prize wheel out? And it's like, it might be just too much for us to do the prize wheel thing. Because the prize wheel, like, it's hard for us to record with that prize wheel. It's such a big ticket item. Everybody loves
Yeah.
playing it. And then we also bring out like video games for people to play. We bring out all kinds of stuff. We're like, we might want to scale that back and just like be a part of the convention a little bit more and not take up too much attention.
Yeah.
So we might
It's
do
like you
that.
can't do it all either, right? It's like if you do the wheel,
Yeah.
you can't really like talk to people or go off and record
Right.
or it's like you gotta pick and choose. So
And this is the
that's
first
cool though,
con
man.
that
That's fun.
us and Distance Learning are gonna do together. So I was telling them like, make sure you have plenty of topics for us to do a recording on, so that like let's bank some episodes, let's get some episodes recorded. I kind of really want to focus on that too. Plus, there's so many interviews to do. It's gonna be a blast.
And nobody listening needs to know that. So that's fine. That's back end stuff.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, shit, I'm gonna be honest, might as well.
You don't back in episodes and take off for a month. You don't do that.
Yo, I got a cruise coming up, and you're gonna be hearing some old content during that cruise. I'm gonna tell you that much right now. I cannot wait. I'm gonna be in Alaska, and you guys are gonna be hearing about stuff from a few months ago.
That's awesome.
For tickets that are only $10, just use code GeekFreaks. And you guys can get through the door for just $10 for a con. That's crazy good. Let's start off with some news. Actually, let's start off with something you had brought up before we press record. The Avatar movie, Aang the Last Airbender, leaked. And it's a detriment to the industry, really, because there's a lot of animators, a lot of voice actors that, deserve a premiere. And yes, it was going to Paramount Plus, but still they do like a red carpet premiere for this and stuff. It deserved to stay in the sun, but now it feels so like unsung. Who do you blame in the situation, and how would you fix it at this point?
Okay, this is how I know it went down. It doesn't mean it's true, but like this is TikTok. It's a wild place, man. People say things out there, so take it with a grain of salt. But the way I understand it was that Paramount didn't have enough faith in it, so they decided to skip the theatrical release and drop it just on Paramount Plus. And some hacker out there, or I guess distribution, got it and was like, well, if they're not gonna release it, like, "Hey, man, check this out," or, like, burned a copy or whatever, sent it to a friend, and that friend sent it to a friend or whatever, and then by the end of the day, it was,
Went
like,
fast.
millions of views on X or whatever, and so, it's not Paramount was doing their job, I guess, but I do kind of blame them. Like, they've never had faith in the Avatar franchise, it sounds like, like,
So
even
wild to
when it
me.
was the original that we all know is a classic, like, you undoubtedly love it, I love it, like, it's, like, such a true American anime, and it is just, like, the best well done cartoon I think we've gotten since I wanna say since the '90s, like, I can't think of anything else that had done better and reached the heights that had, and
Yeah.
then to spin off to Korra, and then for them not to support Korra either was just like, man, like, when are they gonna understand, like, people love this, and that the creators love it, and that they put a lot of heart and soul into it, and that it deserves credit, and it deserves a big baller release, and so, not that anybody should steal content and put it on the internet, but it's like, man, just, like, give it what it deserves, like, try it,
Yeah.
try a month, what a month isn't gonna, like, hurt you in theaters, like, the movie's already done, you've already paid a bunch of people, so, I don't know. I don't know, I'm kinda just angry at Paramount in a
And
little
I
bit of
am
a
too,
way,
yeah, and
so
some of the whispers for their
yeah.
responses when asked about it at CinemaCon has been like, "Well, 2D animation doesn't do good in the West anymore." I'm sorry, did you not just see Demon Hunter, what is it called, Infinity Castle, blow up,
Yeah.
last year? Demon Slayer? I don't remember, but
Doomsday, yeah, yeah,
Demon
yeah.
Slayer,
Yeah.
yeah. But that thing blew up, it was wild last year, like, 2D animation has a
Mhm.
home, trust it. We have Spider-Verse coming up, and people can't wait for that. Just try it out, guys.
Right. Yeah, yeah, and also it's like, to me, I feel like the franchise, like, how could it still be underrated to the studio? You know what I mean? Like, it
I
it
know.
blows me away. Either you've misleveraged it or you really don't understand what people love about it. And I think that is a giant mistake. Like, if Nike all of a sudden was like, let's not put Air Force Ones in the store. Let's just sell them online or something, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, Air Force One sales went down. You'd be like, you don't understand your product. Like, you've been in business for how long? You make millions and millions of dollars, maybe billions of dollars. It just seems like, what are we doing? So I just think and also it's like the original cast grown up. It's like the cast we know and we fell in love with in the first place. It's like, yes, I want to go see that in theaters.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to take my son's too little now, but hey, had he been, 2 years older, I've been like, dude, we're going. You don't even understand what's going on. I'm taking you to this movie because, like, dad grew up with this and now you get to watch this. Like, let's go to the movies and have a day of it. So it's unfortunate.
Here's a tough question, and you gotta be truthful about this. Have you watched it?
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Neither have I.
Because I think, one, I don't use X, but two, like, I do want, when it finally drops, like, I want the creators to get credit. I want to be
Yep.
able to say, like, I just watched this and man, I was so surprised by this, and so and so and so did a good job. And so yeah, I want to, because I've heard
Yeah.
it's freaking badass, but I haven't though. Yeah.
I haven't either. I've been good about it, but the same thing where I'm like, I'm hoping to me, the only way to save face at this point is just to put it in theaters. And if they put it in theaters, I will buy a ticket for it. So I'm hoping that's what they do. I don't know. The original voice cast is wanting them to do that as well. Uh, but even if it does go on Paramount Plus, like I'm still gonna watch it on Paramount Plus just because,
For
man,
sure.
these guys deserve that. But it is so tempting, man. The clips I am seeing, like, ooh, that's some clean shading. You
I
know?
know, I know. I wasn't even looking for it, and it popped up like a Zuko clip, and I only saw like literally 3 seconds because I was like, no. But I
Yeah.
was like, God, that looks dope. Oh yeah. So yeah. Hurry up. I don't. Does it have a release date yet? I don't even know.
God, I don't even know if it probably does, but frankly, I haven't even looked it up because of all this mess. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's out there.
Yeah.
We're not gonna review it, is what I'm basically getting around to, just because we're gonna wait for it to
Yeah.
have its day, the proper day in the sun.
Hmm.
Talking about CinemaCon though, man, we had a lot of good stuff announced, a lot of crazy big announcements. We couldn't go this year, but we are like in the emails, so I think next year we're in. Man, I'm rooting for that.
All right.
We're
Let's
rubbing elbows with some
go.
of the people we love the most. Looking
Yeah.
over the announcements, let's start off with Warner Brothers. And I think for my side of things, I was pretty impressed with Mortal Kombat 2, the trailer they got going out there. I know it's coming down to Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. We'll talk about Street Fighter in a sec, but I think with Mortal Kombat, I think they are fixing the things that we didn't trust from beforehand, the things that didn't quite land. with that kind of like pandemic release. They're making the
Mhm.
scale a little bit bigger. The actors seem to be taking it even more seriously, and they're kind of course correcting a couple characters that I think they should have course corrected. Um, are you invested in the Mortal Kombat at all? The release?
I mean, our man Carl Urban's in it, right?
Hell
Like,
yeah!
how could I not be? I liked the first one that they dropped,
They're
even though it was a pandemic. I think the storyline of that one was just so weird and it was so all over the place, which
Mhm.
kind of is a Mortal Kombat movie. But I think the
Yeah,
characters that they chose for us to focus on in movie one was just like, what? And they brought that random guy in, and I love him as an actor, and I think he did a fantastic job. But it was like, why don't you just give us characters we know?
yeah.
And so I think that they're doing that with this movie and it looks good, man. Like I was like, how's Carl Urban gonna work as Johnny Cage? Because or did I say it right?
Johnny
Is
Cage,
that
yeah.
his name? Yeah. I was like, I just couldn't see it. And then it just works. Like, can the man can do anything.
He
I don't
really
know.
can.
I feel like he's way older than he is, but he looks great and he looks like very agile and like,
Yeah,
how is he doing it? I
I
don't
know.
know. But it's
He's
awesome.
clearly gonna be the anchor of the new movie too, so I'm like, "Hell yeah." Watching
Yeah.
The Boys right now, I'm just like, I'm so into The Boys right now, and IGN
Mhm.
had the balls to say that the season's losing steam. What? Are you kidding me?
What? Dude, that's
You guys are
IGN rage
dumb.
baiting people. They're just trying to sell ads, man.
I'll take
They're
it.
like,
Yeah,
how many views can we get in this article?
'cause the speed in which I went to the comments section, that's exactly what they
Yeah.
did it for. You're right. They got me.
Yeah, yeah. You know that meme that pops up every once in a while? It's like, I can't remember. It's like somebody who's like walking by with a coffee mug and they're like, and it says like, just came here to make sure the comments are handling things.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I see that it has, like, just making
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, you got it. You got it, guys. Okay, perfect. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, it's like that. Cause The Boys is fantastic so far. I think it's
yeah.
phenomenal. Carl Urban, he just brings so much gravitas to it,
Ooh, great
and
word.
we're
Yeah.
getting more of the characters we love. Like I saw a lot more Sub-Zero in this. I'm seeing a little bit more. Who
I think they're
else? I
gonna
guess Raiden's in there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Raiden and a couple of the characters coming back that had been killed, but I think we're also gonna get that new character, which frankly, it's fine that you and I don't remember his name because who would?
Yeah.
But I think he's gonna become the new Scorpion. So I think that's the course correction that they're gonna go with.
Oh, the new. Okay. Okay. Like there was a character. To be honest though, I don't really remember the first movie, so I gotta go
Well,
back and
the
watch it.
story, but that's how all. I mean, only Squeaks is the only person I know who plays every game and knows the story really well. I'm like, what? But
It has a
his
story.
ancestor that was Scorpion. So I think they're gonna like, okay, let's
Oh.
change it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Wasn't it, the dude from Shogun too? I'm pretty
Toranaga.
sure it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, yeah, it had a great cast. Yeah, hopefully they can just align the story a little bit better, which it does. I think when you have such a focal character, especially like a Carl Urban, it's gonna be easier for us just to kind of follow along. And yeah, I like it. But I guess I'm curious, and you said that there's a little inner inner network debate going on.
Yeah.
I will say though, I might be leaning more towards Street Fighter.
That's the inner debate going on. So we have the guys from Distance Nerding that are pro Street Fighter. We've got Phantom Portals that's pro Mortal Kombat. Me and Squeaks are Mortal Kombat.
Mhm.
You're going Street Fighter, huh? What
I think narrowly,
narrowly,
yeah,
okay. What about it
because
is pulling
yeah,
ahead?
I think it's just like the accuracy of it. Like it reminds me of when it was 25 cents and you're going to some random it like wasn't even an arcade. It was like a restaurant or like a burger place or whatever and it had a Mortal Kombat arcade machine outside and while my dad made calls and grabbed his burgers, like I was popping in 50 cents and just like, going to town and I feel like it's just getting so many things right. I know not everybody likes the look, but I think it's leaning into the cheese, and I kind of like that.
That's true. It's definitely leaning into the cheese. The new trailer that came out, let's talk about it for a sec. I actually did
Uh,
it did sell me on it a lot more than beforehand. But yeah, I think it's campy in the right way in a lot of ways. I don't like that a lot of the actors they're pulling are just be like, well, because 50 cents, 50 cents, so he can just play this character. It's like, yeah, but he's not an actor. I would like for them to pull more actors.
True. That's true. Interesting enough, so my wife is like a reality show, Life of the Furies or whatever. It's that
Okay.
boxer Fury, and
Yeah.
all him and his wife wanted to do was go to see a 50 Cent concert. So 50 Cent isn't in the show, and I'm like, man. I mean, he might as well be an actor because he's still playing the same songs he was playing from like the early 2000s at this show,
Yeah.
man. Like, it does he not have any new songs?
They're so
But I
good
will
though.
say,
I
like,
love them.
they're still bangers. They're
Yeah.
100%. But I like the way the characters look for the most part.
Mhm.
Um, I'm curious. There's like a few in there where I don't know because they really went with comedians over like actors to your point, but they look like the characters. Like Cody Rhodes, we were talking about it. Maybe this is his breakout role from wrestling to acting. Like he looks
Yeah.
like Guile to me. He looks more like Guile than John Claude Van Damme did in the 90s.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe it works. Yeah.
Man, I tell you, growing up, my family, we never ever missed a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. We watched every single
Hmm.
one of them on repeat. So, like
Yeah.
that hell has a special spot in my heart. That might be a lot of it, a little bit of it too, because I actually liked the old Street Fighter movie as a kid. So,
I did too. Yeah,
yeah,
I did too. I think this has that potential though. Like it's over the top. It kind of seems like kids will be into it because all the
I
characters are
could
so
see that.
vibrant
Yeah,
and silly, and like Mortal Kombat, you're probably not bringing, a 12-year-old or younger. Maybe you are, but this you could definitely bring to me a 12-year-old or younger to
the
come
colors
watch
alone
it,
will do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good point.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, it just looks so fun and ridiculous, and then, like, I couldn't take it seriously, but, like, when he's, like, beating up the car, because you know
Hmm.
that, like, bonus level you could always do in the game,
Oh
which
yeah.
was so fun, I never did enough damage to the car, but I love that they threw it in here because it's just so stupid. It's
Even the counter
awesome.
behind him, like counting his time down, is the same counter you see in a fight too. I was like,
Oh, I
they're
didn't even notice that.
yeah, they're
That's
doing really
awesome.
good. One spot in particular, I was like, they might have me on that one. Is they show these guys like fighting in the street and it started panning up for just a second and then it cut away. But I was like, that's gonna pan all the way to the top of that building and it's gonna show Street Fighter at the top, which is how the arcade machine would sit there on neutral, which would show that those two fighting and then it would pan up to the top of the building. It's doing that shot. I'm
Nice.
like,
Ooh,
damn, that is pretty
great
good
catch.
actually. They might have me.
That's a great
Uh,
catch, man.
Looking at some other like Warner Brothers announcements, let's talk about the new Hunt for Golem. It's a new Lord of the Rings movie coming up, and we got a new Aragon with Jamie Dornan. I actually kind of like this casting. I know that Vigo didn't want to come
Yeah.
back, so but I
Mm,
think Jamie kind of does the role well. I think he looks like a younger, like a Strider age for Aragon, and I think this is going to work out well. Uh, this movie doesn't have the hype behind it that I would suspect for being a new Lord of the Rings movie. But I mean, if we're looking at like Ian McKellen's coming back as Gandalf, we've got Kate Winslet joining the team. We have Andy Serkis directing and playing Gollum. Elijah Wood coming in as Frodo. Lee Pace is returning for the movie. Like the cast is freaking stellar. So I'm surprised this movie doesn't have
yeah.
enough hype behind it. You know?
Yeah, it's just like, where does this fit? I guess, and like, I know there's like, if Stephen Colbert is listening right now, he's probably screaming at his phone. But
Yeah.
like,
Which he's writing a
like,
movie too,
where
by
does
the way. That's another piece that we had talked about it before. But yeah.
it's true, it's true. But like, well, how does this fit into the overall universe that we've seen? I guess that's like where I'm at. Like I feel like
Well,
everybody got pretty good send offs in it. I guess it's like in between the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy, right? But
yeah.
I don't know, man. I am not gonna doubt it because I think that they're not gonna screw up this franchise. I think it's gonna be okay at best or at worst. I mean,
Hmm.
and so I don't know. It's weird. Like I'm just not as excited about it as I wish I was, and I think this sounds maybe silly, but I feel like Rings of Power like damaged my enthusiasm for Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
a little bit.
You are so right. Damn, you are so right. Because honestly, like the thing that's really kind of, I mean, like all Lord of the Rings is going to be a level of quality. But I think the fact that
Hmm.
Andy Serkis is directing this is the thing I'm most excited for because it's like, oh, I trust Andy Serkis a lot and I want to see what his take is on Lord of the Rings, right? But you're
Hmm.
right, Rings of Power really kind of took the prestige off that title. Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, and, like, I love Andy Serkis too, like, incredible. He's just a phenomenal actor, but, like, the only director role that I've seen, like, the only movie coming to mind is the Venom movie, the second one that had Woody Harrelson in it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that was not good either, but also that could be a Sony thing, not a him thing.
yeah.
So I'm like, there's just a lot of variables in this movie where I'm, like, not 100% sold just yet.
I will say with Venom 2, there are some really good shots, but they were kind of like borrowing from the
Yeah.
comic book shots. But to choose to do that's good too. I I I have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
I have gotten comments I've talked about Andy Serkis in the back. It's like, yeah, but remember Venom 2? I'm like, yeah, I remember Venom 2, guys, but he also does good stuff
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
It's the
exactly.
go-to. Oh man.
Yeah, totally.
Uh, I don't know if it's let's finish up the Warner Bros. That we know for sure. I think one of the things that we need to really talk about here is they're planning on 14 films for 2026, 18 for 2027, and they had 11 in 2025 to kind of give you guys an idea. You are very good about sticking with the industry and keeping an eye on this. Based off of CinemaCons, based off of this, what is that kind of telling you about the future of Hollywood?
Yeah, I love it. I think this is very exciting. I think people are looking for places where they can have communal events. And this is going
Nice.
to sound like real, deep in the weeds, but I mean, live concerts like Coachella is still just getting crazier. There's still so many more people going to it. Live concerts are coming back. And people are like, yeah, there's more stuff to watch, at home and stuff like that. But I mean, I think if the big budget movies have shown us anything, is that there are these moments we all want to go and like see something together. Whether
Mhm.
it's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, recently it's Project Hail Mary. The Avatar movies are still making $1 billion. It's like for the right things, for good stories will show up, and it's like I love that Warner Brothers is just like doubling down. Also, they should. They had a killer ass year last year,
Mhm.
with Sinners, with what's some of the other big ones they had? Dune, like
Yeah.
they should be like doubling down. They're crushing it with IMAX. They have fantastic directors that are hanging on with their studio they're attracting more talent. I'm really excited about this. And this was like one of the more positive news things for me that came out of CinemaCon, besides like all the announcements. Like we know we're
Right.
getting some of this stuff, but like this is just really exciting for me.
Well, and that's the thing is CinemaCon is geared for theater owners, so it's nice to hear a focus towards them at least for 1 week of the year. And I
Yeah.
was a big fan of this. Did you hear about the okay? So Ankler is basically like a deadline. It's a trade magazine or trade or a website out of Hollywood, but it's closer to indie than it is to like mainstream, like a Deadline or Hollywood Reporter. The
Okay.
owner for it was at CinemaCon and handing out pins saying "Stop the merger" and talking about the Paramount
Ooh.
and WB merger. Well, that's just
Yeah.
tongue in cheek and honestly, like, yeah, stop the merger, but he has now been blacklisted from Paramount stuff, which soon will be Paramount and WB stuff after Thursday's
Oh.
vote, and that's a detriment to his entire company. So it's kinda like, you know, it's a shame because honestly, yeah, Deadline should be coming out and say this too, but they're too afraid to lose that
Yeah.
contract. They're too the access, not
I
contract, the access.
yeah, I mean, I don't blame it. And we're, this is not a political show. We're not trying to get into politics,
No,
but
no, of
there's just
course not.
some things that are
Please don't.
undeniable.
Yeah,
And the family tied to Paramount is also tied to the current administration. So they're
yeah.
getting certain perks out of it and stuff. And so, it's going to be hard if you don't agree with the politics of it all. That will inevitably find its way in there. And I don't think anybody truly in the industry, unless you're way, way, way up at the top, wants this merger,
Yeah.
even if it was Netflix. Like people weren't even, it was like, lesser of two evils. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, which one do I
exactly.
go with, right? Should I
Yeah.
drag my feet through the coal or should I walk over glass? Like, what am I, either way, so I
Yeah.
think it sucked either way for people at the bottom. But I think just in terms of like industry people, it's like, what does this mean for jobs? What does this mean for
Yeah.
the amount of content we're gonna get? I like, so I guess this is why it's positive, is because it could also be said that maybe we're gonna get less movies or shows, but with this commitment to more theatrical releases, it's like, no, we're actually gonna get more stuff. So that's, to me, that's a positive out of it. I'm like, all right, cool, that's good.
Yeah, I'm worried about it. I hate that there's already the kind of that
You
corruption
don't seem
push.
convinced.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm just
nope, it's gonna suck.
well, first off, yes, it will, but also the idea of like cutting off access to a website that has had access before because you don't like what they're reporting about you.
Yeah,
It's like, bro, that once you control Warner Brothers 2, that's even stronger. And it's like, how corrupt politician do you have
right.
to get for a studio to be that way? It's like, damn, that sucks.
Right. It just kind of, with this year and last year with the whole fight for freedom of speech and stuff, it does feel like a censorship kind of thing, where
Yeah.
it's like, I know he's, but also like, it is also a business decision for them. So if he's like adamantly encouraging people to not allow them to go about their business, granted, we have to see what the attorney general and stuff is able to put together and say, hey, maybe they're able to stop it, maybe they're not. But I do kind of understand, man, not trying to side with a billionaire here, but like, I'm like, hey, Lex Luthor, but like, it is like kind of a business decision for them in a sense. So just playing devil's advocate, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's right, but I can also see why they would blacklist him. But in addition, you've heard about this too. How many like thousands of actors and stuff have signed a petition to stop the merger too?
Yeah, but what good is that gonna do? That's what sucks, right? Like, if they sign that petition and then all of a sudden a movie's coming up and they need the role, will they use that petition as a blacklist? Or are those people just gonna be like, "Look, I need the
Yeah,
gig, so what are you gonna do?" Like, when 2 major studios or 1 major studio now, shit, you can't turn away
yeah,
jobs. That's crazy.
that's true. I think if enough big actors actually do, it might make a dent, but like that's a
Yeah.
big if. So yeah, I don't know, man. We'll
I would
see
say the
how.
one actor that
Yeah,
could
there's
really have some big say over it is Tom Cruise, because he got Mission Impossible and Top Gun, 2 of their biggest franchises.
right. That's a good point. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the you're right. Like I'm trying to think of because my mind instantly went to directors who are tired of Warner Brothers, which is like Christopher Nolan
Yeah.
and Ryan Coogler now being like really tied to Warner Brothers. So I don't know, man. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we're getting more movies. I think that's a win, but yeah, we'll see.
Damn. When you said Ryan Coogler and Christopher Nolan, I'm like, I'll ride at dawn for those 2.
I know,
So
right?
I am so in on anything those 2 you wanna do. Like, yeah, you guys wanna start
Yeah,
a new coffee shop? I'm buying a cup.
dude, 100%. And not only that, like add in, I just thought about too, Denis Villeneuve is in there too. Like
Oh, yeah.
Denis part of
Who
the
does
Warner
all the
Brothers
Dune
fair.
stuff.
So it's like, yeah, like if all three of those guys were like, we're not doing a movie, unless this doesn't go
Yeah,
through, maybe something would change. But like, that's a huge if. That's a drop in the like, yeah.
that's a big one.
I don't know.
Let's
Yeah.
shift away from WB because we don't even know if they're gonna be here in a couple months. Thursday's the call on that, guys, and I will be tuning in and giving feedback on that on our social media, so we'll see how that goes. It's unlikely. But the thing I want to talk about right now is that Godzilla Minus Zero coming out that
Yeah.
headed to New York. The trailer, he's
Hmm.
like flying through a floating city. This shit looks insanely good. Um, I don't know how they do this with this budget. It's magic. They're using magic.
Yeah. Crazy enough. So I didn't see this trailer. I've only heard about it.
Oh
But
my
I
god, yeah.
just, yeah, is it like I'm sure. Okay, so the things I've seen, it looks like the first one, but he looks bigger.
He looks bigger, like he got a bit of an upgrade, like the scales are a little bit like heavier on his back. Um,
Okay.
he's like Japan's decimated still, but now he's in New York. He's headed to New York. You see him walking past the Statue of Liberty. And the main character from the first movie is now flying a bomber, flying through New York, trying to like fight Godzilla over there. It's bringing back his family, and yeah, there's one part where for whatever reason, Godzilla, maybe Mothra or somebody, like lifted up a bunch of like houses to where it looks like it's like a floating a cacophony of buildings, and he's trying to fly this
Yeah.
bomber through them. It looks incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, that's super cool. All right. Well, you're the first person that's like really talked about the trailer. Like people are like, "Yay,
Oh,
we're
really?
getting like Godzilla Minus Zero," which I'm pumped about. I loved Godzilla Minus One. That was one where I was like, "Man, I'm going back in theaters," and I didn't. I watched it at home, but I was still like, "Man, this movie's fantastic." So I think it's good. It's interesting how they're bringing back the main guy though, because he almost like died in the process of trying to kill Godzilla. That
Yeah.
obviously didn't work. So they got to really convince. I mean, movies do it all the time, but they got to really convince me there's a reason for him to not be in Japan and to like hunt Godzilla down in New York.
Yeah. Well, it's 2 years later, so like it's enough time to be patched up and like ready to fly again and stuff. They
Yeah,
made sure to put a
and
little bit of a
everything's
time
good.
skip there.
And everything's good between Japan and the U.S. at this point.
We're hunky
Like
dory. Yeah.
we're all good at this point in history. Everything's fine.
Don't Google that.
Yeah.
Oh
Well, we
goodness.
just forgot about, those massive cities where everybody got turned into ash. No big
Yeah.
deal.
Oh god. All right, let's move over to some other stuff that got announced here. We're gonna look at the Fokker in Law trailer. So these have always been stand-up movies. They're not bad movies, but I thought the last one, like, okay, everybody's older now. You can't keep making these things. Robert De Niro, my
Yeah.
god, the guy's gotta have a cane right off camera. Uh Now they're bringing Ariana Grande. This this shit works, man. This is gonna be a good. We talked about before about these middle budget movies. This is like a pinnacle middle budget movie in modern Hollywood. This is what we need.
Yeah. I'm stoked. Yeah, because we get so few comedies. This one was a fantastic one. Yeah, Ariana Grande, she's killing it. She's a queen. Like, yeah, I'm super on board. Also, like is it her boyfriend
Yeah,
or fiance in this? Is the guy
Skylar
from
Gisondo.
Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never know his
What's the
name. He's
deal
got a
with this
crazy
guy?
name.
His whole deal is like, I'm gonna be the most average looking dude ever, but pull tail. What is it? What is up with
Exactly.
that?
Yeah. Average looking, like just boy next door, like doesn't even like do anything crazy. He's not a
Yeah,
bad boy by any means. And yeah, just gets like all the hottest girls.
yeah.
I don't know, but I wish I was him.
If you guys ever
Like it
watch
sounds good.
Righteous Gemstones, it's just such a classic show of mine. He is the eldest son in that show, and as the show goes on, you start to realize
Oh,
like, oh, he's the proper heir actually too. So like, he rides motorcycles, he becomes a stunt man. He's also the best preacher. It's funny. Uh, yeah, Skylar's dope. I don't get what the magic is with this guy. He's in the by the way, he's in the Vacations movie, which was kind of a reboot to the European Vacation, National Lampoon Vacations.
oh, okay.
Incredibly funny, so funny in that. Check it out, guys.
Damn, nice. That's
Yeah.
probably it. Yeah, that's it all the way. Man, lucky guy.
So we have a couple things that are in the works. Call of Duty movies coming out June 30th, 2028. I'm not excited about that in any way. I think it's just going to be a shooter, and they're going to slap a Call of Duty title on it. Shame.
Yeah. They have, I mean, they gotta have some kind of talent tied to it. You know what I am excited about? Krieger talked about this.
Mhm.
He obviously did Weapons, he did Barbarian. He talked about the Resident Evil movie, right, at
Yes.
CinemaCon?
Yeah.
Man, that just like there obviously isn't any footage or anything. I don't even think like a script is done, but just the way he talked about it and how they're going to focus on one protagonist and he wants to really capture the vibe of Resident Evil. Like that guy is proven to me now. He makes phenomenal movies. They're creepy, they're
Yeah.
interesting, they're weird, they're well acted. The dynamics of weapons, like from four different perspectives through that movie, was super unique. Dude, I'm looking forward to that one. I think it's gonna be good.
Even Barbarian, like the cinematography in Barbarian, the way that like he would take the dark and the void and like kind of like would play with surprising you in sounds. So I thought like, man, this guy's having fun with this movie. And so
Yeah.
to put him in the pressure cooker that is Resident Evil and Raccoon City falling apart, hell yeah, I'm on board.
I know, I'm stoked. And this is about right. This is like his third movie, so give him a bigger budget movie. And I gotta say, like, the one from the 2000s when we were kids, I still have a special place in my heart, but I was so bummed. I remember watching that as a kid and being like, this isn't Resident Evil at all.
True,
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know? So if he grew up the same time we grew up and he played the games and now he's a bomb ass horror director, I'm sure he's going to kill it.
Yeah. You know
Woo.
who in my
Yeah.
life is an insanely big Resident Evil movie fan, like, with, like, every one of them would watch in theater? My mom.
Yeah.
She loved him.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Every one of them we saw in theaters. Yeah.
You know what? There was something about moms in that movie and also, like, Underworld. Like, I remember, like,
Mhm.
Scott's my friend Scott, his
Yeah.
mom loved that movie too, and she really loved the Underworld friend. I don't know, there was something about that time where moms were like, "This scary shit is, like, perfect. This is, like,
I'd
right
bring
up our
back
alley." I don't
Underworld.
know.
I mean, that last Underworld was trash, but, like, let's just follow up with another one, like, I'm down for that. That was fun.
I don't even remember it, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Underworld series was cool. It's due for a remake.
it is.
That's speaking about, like, a whole new remake, though, we got more images, I guess, or, like, something from the Odyssey, right? Or was it, like, the original trailer? I thought
The
they
original
didn't they
trailer,
just
yeah, but
redo
they were
that?
showing off, they were kinda talking about it and stuff like that, talking about how big impactful it'll be on theaters. I have, like, my aunt who's, 70 something years old, she's like, "Hey, can you take me to go watch The Odyssey?" I'm like, "Absolutely. You'll be the
Oh,
second
that's
viewing I
cool.
watch it with because I'm gonna watch it the first time, totally focused,
'Cause you
and
can't
then I'll
keep up
take you."
with me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, man, if you're making a movie that's that impactful, I think this thing's gonna
Yeah,
it's gonna be a monster. It's gonna be a monster.
I think it is. I think it is, and after Oppenheimer, that was very grounded and very
Mhm.
intense and stuff, like, this is grounded, but it's fantasy, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like Greek and Roman mythology, so I heard that people were just, like, gasping when they saw the Cyclops, the giant monster that's in it, and people were
Wow.
like, "Holy shit." So, I'm curious to see what Nolan does with some special effects because the only one that I can think of that was really special effects heavy, it wasn't even really Dark Knight, it was Inception. So,
Yeah,
like,
that was a lot of
you
special
know
effects. You're right. And then he has
so,
that color
yeah.
blindness too that I love that Signature puts on all of his films where it's like the blue and I think yellow are the 2 colors he leans on hard. Yeah, and it's just like it's a signature for him, but then it's
Cool.
also just like for some reason it just sets me in the mood like, "Oh, we're watching a Nolan movie now," you know? So I'm excited to see that
Yeah.
put into Odyssey. Yeah.
Yeah, when I see that Cinepy or Syncopy or whatever his company is
Yeah.
called, I'm like, "Oh boy, buckle up."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna clear my schedule. I'm gonna watch this again right afterwards so that I can see everything I missed. It's
Yeah.
done.
I'm gonna be on Reddit for 3 hours after this 3-hour movie.
I
You
sent
know,
you
like
I sent you a TikTok post today, actually. It's so funny we're talking about this. From the A24 guy. You know who I mean by when I say that the A24 guy, the A24 hat.
Yeah.
Where he's talking about
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah,
the best Nolan movie is actually Prestige, and he goes over why it's best, and I'm like, yes, I'm cheering at my phone while he's talking. Like, hell yeah, it
wow.
is.
Dude, 100%. I will always be grateful to you for showing me that movie because it's like not, there because yeah, it just was there was another magic movie at that time. I watched
Yeah.
that one. I thought it was okay, but I was like, I don't need to see another magic movie. But boy, did I ever because that
Mm,
was mind blowing. So he's right.
we'll watch
Kit
it
Laser,
twice.
by the way, or like movies or therapy. I think he has like
There
a
it
different
is.
name.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
yeah, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah.
I literally had
Yep.
to I was talking to him about somebody else, and I had a Google guy with A24 hat on TikTok, brought him right up. Brought him right
Yeah.
up. That's
This
great.
is how big that guy's gotten. When you
Yeah.
look up just like random TV show review or movie review, he's like his videos are like first. It's not like Juju's, at least for me. Maybe it's everybody's algorithm is different, but it wasn't Juju's, it wasn't like Jay Stoobs, it was or Soups, it was his. So I'm like, dude, the guy's doing well.
I don't wanna brag like that, but usually first for me is, like, Joe and Brandon because 'cause we're mutuals. I just wanna throw that out
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. At least if you search, not if I go to friend.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's round things off with Disney because boy, they came out with a lot of stuff. I again, talk about a movie that doesn't have hype behind it, and I'm kind of surprised, is The Mandalorian. I think this new footage that we got from it is showing us, like, it's the same thing we get from the Disney Plus, but a little bit more polished, a little more prestige. The,
Mhm.
Razor Crest, god, that thing is gorgeous. I am
Yeah.
fully on board for this movie.
I am too. I'm really excited about it. I do think it looks good. Again, I think this is a franchise that is suffering from bad showings from previous seasons. Meaning
Okay,
like, why did we get Mandalorian 2.5 in Book of Boba Fett?
that
And
was dumb.
why was the best episodes in Book of Boba Fett in a not so great show? Why
Yeah,
was season 3 really not about Mando? Like I know that Pedro Pascal had other things to do, but we all know he's voice acting most of the time. So why did it matter if the story was about him or not? And don't get me wrong, I love Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan is my girl. She's a shit. But it also should have been a story about two Mandalorians finding their place. One finding their place after actually both of them finding their place after redemption and going home. And it was
yeah,
mainly about her. And then you lost Mando. And then it was like, so I think Mando is suffering because of those letdowns over the last few years. And these stories have been not analogies. What is it where it's like a new story every episode? I'm like blanking on that
yeah, like an
word, but
anthology.
basically
Yeah,
anthology, thank you.
yeah,
I think because it has been an anthology too, it's like, what can the movie be, you know?
mhm,
So I don't know. I'm hyped about it, but I know that these are uphill battles. Also, the Razor Crest, dope. Why does he have the Razor Crest back? Why?
yeah, they're gonna
You
find a
know,
reason
there
because they were like, "'Cause we need to sell the toys." Yeah,
yeah, but like that kind of stuff, I think, fans are keen. And
yeah.
I think there's just a lot of explaining that needs to be done. And also, we don't know what the story is, and I'm okay with that. But I don't know. There's just a lot to prove to the general audience, I think.
I think part of the problem is that it's always been on Disney Plus, so when they see this, they're like, I mean, I watched it on Disney Plus. I don't necessarily need to go to the theaters for it. I think there's a lot more hype for Starfighter, a fully new project inside of Star Wars universe that feels like, oh, a Star Wars movie's coming to the theaters again. And it's like, there's one before that. It's this, but you guys are just used to watching it on your TV.
Yeah, that's true. I will say, like, I'm probably more hyped for Starfighter, but no, I think Starfighter is gonna be a better movie, maybe. But I'm probably more hyped for the Mandalorian just because I want to see Mando and Grogu on like a
Yeah.
real, like a epic adventure, and like capture maybe some of the glory that was season one.
Yeah. Yeah. And even within the newer seasons, there were definitely times where you're like, cinema. right? This is perfect. But yeah,
Totally.
you're right. Like there were times where they were like, why is Jack Black here? Like I'm enjoying this, but also it's throwing me off, obviously. Stuff like that, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Okay, last thing I wanna ask you about, because I don't know
Hmm.
if we talked about it. Master of the Universe, how are you feeling about it now, after we got a
Bro,
few trailers?
yeah, I'm like kind of really hyped about this actually. Let me do like the kids say. I'm
Right.
low key hyped about this. Um,
Okay.
uh, because you
Look
know
at
what
you
it's
and your
giving me
new
the vibes from
lingo.
is the Dungeons and
Mm.
Dragons movie. It feels like that, where it's just being like a fun adventure that I'm ready to plug in and plug back out. That's good.
'Kay, I think that's a perfect comparison, but this is gonna sound like a stupid question, but I don't think I'm that far off. Like, why does the Master of the Universe, and I haven't, maybe I'm wrong, I just haven't seen that much. Why does that feel okay, but, like, the Street Fighter movie doesn't? You know what I mean? Like, they're both ridiculous over the top properties. They
Yeah,
both have, like, ridiculous characters, ridiculous premises, but, like, why does Master of the Universe, because I agree with you, it feels like this is gonna be a great movie, where Street Fighter doesn't. You know,
I think
like,
one of the
I don't.
yeah, I think one of the key things with Master of the Universe and why maybe Conan won't work is because Master of the Universe, when you watch it, it's always been super ridiculous, even in the cartoons. It's just a mix
Mhm,
of fantasy and sci-fi, and also within the movie, there's a framing device of Prince Adam is just Adam that works at like a video store or something like that, and then gets pulled into the Masters of the universe. And so it's
mhm.
framing it around like we're gonna let this be ridiculous because it's in a different universe. It's a fantasy universe. So I think there might be something there that's kind of just natively happening inside of our brains. And Street Fighter, I think I'm seeing it closer to whatever for whatever reason. Oh gosh, Scott Pilgrim, where it's like it's using more than just actually the assets that you're given in a movie. It's using almost like video game tools. Yes, obviously it's based on video game, but like the visual effects are like, they're there for something like that, something.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly, just to remind you, like, "This is from the game, this is from the
Yeah.
game." Yeah, you're right, I love it. Man, if it gets close to the heights of Scott Pilgrim, I will
Oh,
be
I know.
happy, because Scott
That's
Pilgrim is
yeah.
like, dude, that movie was transformational for me as a kid, where it was like a dork, like, inside at least, and, like, nervous to talk to girls, and then
Yeah.
seeing Scott kinda be a badass, and yeah, oh, man, I
Bro,
love
super
that
bad as
movie.
well was that way where it's like, I'm on screen.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
What a bad year for us
uh,
to not be doing John Accepted, man. There's so many good movies coming out.
I know,
Oh
it's
shit.
crazy.
Let's
So,
let's
last
go ahead.
oh, yeah, I was just gonna say, because you put this in the article too, and I love that you put it in here. Infinity Vision, right?
Yes.
We got the answer that, uh Avengers Doomsday is not moving from Dune. Doomsday is happening. So,
Yes.
like, they're gonna be battling. So rather than them being able, meaning them, meaning Marvel, being able to take IMAX theaters, they're like, screw it, we're gonna make our own type of IMAX and made Infinity Vision. What's your take on this?
It's just a marketing ploy. It's not gonna mean a damn thing. The best part of all this is that they said they're gonna put Avengers Doomsday back in theaters. So or, not Doomsday, Endgame back in theaters. So I'm like,
Endgame.
I'm there.
Yeah,
I'm there
yeah.
for that for sure. But, yeah, it's kind of funny. The whole thing is like because WB has a contract with IMAX, so they
Yeah.
can't compete with it. It's gonna be a glorious day, December 18th. That day is in the brain. Yeah.
I know, I know. Are you gonna go back to back, you think?
Yeah, I think I will. Will you do that?
You think so? Yeah, let's do it. That's a challenge right there.
Damn, that yeah. Oh my god. We gotta get yeah, we're gonna have to make sure we have people with us. We're gonna need Gatorade. We're gonna have to like
Yeah, yeah,
that's gonna
yeah.
be because it's not just like 2 movies, it's 2 long ass movies back to back. Oh
Just
man.
a pee bag taped to my leg. That's how I'm going in there.
I'm warming up, guys. Speaking of Avengers, we have a description of what's going on in the new trailer that was released. Dear God, Marvel, what the shit? Give it to us. I want to start off with
Mm,
Shang-Chi versus Gambit. I never would have thought those two fighting, whatever. But as soon as that was told to me, I'm like, man, for some reason that fight is gonna be so sick. Like it's gonna be
it
so perfect.
is.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. Hearing how he's like deflecting the cards with the rings and everything. Man, that I can't even like I don't know, maybe maybe my imagination sucks. I can't imagine it, but like I want to. Like I just want to see it with my eyes. Like I want to see, him like blocking cards and them just exploding in the background. And
Yeah.
also like a
It's gonna be
bow staff
fast,
versus ring.
projectiles, yeah.
Yeah. Frick, it's gonna be so sick. Oh, okay, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm hyped about that.
Release that shit already. Thor's reuniting with Steve Rogers. I think one of the harder selling points is how are you going to bring back Steve Rogers and RDJ, and how's it going to feel natural? What are your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna count him out. Like I'm not. I was really excited when they announced Doctor Doom, and I was really confused when they said Robert Downey Jr. And I'm like, okay, I still have no idea. I've seen so many different takes on how it could work and this and that. There's some I like more than others. Some, we'll see how it goes. But Steve, for some reason, is almost a harder sell for me than RDJ. Like RDJ
Okay.
is so ingrained, and I know people would say Steve Rogers too, but like you could have any like really handsome, charismatic buff dude kind of play Captain America, and I would probably be on board with it. Like hell, like in another world, Anthony Starr is Captain America, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. Would he have done as well as Chris Evans? I don't know, but like, so something about that seems so tricky to me, and I know they're gonna use the kids route, but they got to really make it make sense why he would leave this universe where all he wanted. I was watching Age of Ultron this past weekend, just
Hmm.
like while I was watching Will, and there's this part where Sam says to Cap, um, I just, or I guess Cap says to him, I just want to home, or like, no, home is home. He says, home is
Yeah.
home. You always got to go home. And this look in Steve Rogers' face where it's just like, I just want a home again. Right. And like that theme carries all the way to the end. And he finally gets it in Endgame. And he's got the wife and he's got the kids. Like, you got to really make me believe he had no other option to get back that piece of home than to join this fight. And yeah, I think that's gonna be a hard sell. I know they did it with Tony Stark, but like you're gonna find any which way to give me, RDJ's Tony Stark. So I don't know.
Yeah. The
Does that make sense? I
It
feel
does
like I
make
went all
sense.
over the place.
No, I
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, because obviously what's gonna have to bring Steve back into this fight is that he took his home away from him, which I think in this case is his kids. I think he took away his kids. The other thing too is Marvel just today, just hours ago actually, released a clip saying this is relevant to Endgame, and it was when Tony clicked the finger. So I think that was the inciting incident that started the incursions. That will lead to everything we got going on. Uh, Steve Rogers is a bit of a tough sell, and I will say with Tony Stark, what we're hearing is that he had a very distinct voice that was not very Tony like, and
Yeah.
some people are saying like the helmet doesn't come off, and maybe it won't come off until the very end. At first, I thought, boy, that's gonna sound goofy. That's gonna be Bane. People are gonna make fun of it. But then some
Mhm.
people that were in the room were saying, no, he sold it really well, and it was actually very good. I'm like, okay, I'm interested in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I love it. I read somewhere that it sounds vaguely European, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What does that mean? That sounds dumb." But again, if you go to Age of Ultron and you watch that movie, the Hydra people in Zircovia or wherever,
Hmm.
you're like, "Oh, I don't know where the hell that is. I don't,
Yeah.
like I couldn't point that out on a map." And so I think it's yeah, if he can sell it that way, which he definitely can sell a different accent if you watch Oppenheimer,
Hmm.
he's gonna crush it. So I'm not worried about the accent. I'm not worried about the voice. I think the MCU has done the most amazing job of finding voices for characters that you can only read in comics, that you've only normally been able to read
Well
and buy in
said.
comics. And I think the MCU has done a better job than the X-Men or the Fox X-Men universe ever did, better than the Fantastic Four, like all these other franchises. So I'm not worried about that. I just need a reason for why does this Doom look like Tony Stark? If it's a good reason, I'm on board. Like I'll be easy.
Yeah.
And again, the fights that they mentioned too, like Nightcrawler saying he's fighting Mr. Fantastic. What the hell does that look like? That
I
sounds
know.
sick. How?
It's all the
How
action
long? What
figures
is
just
that?
smashing, dude. I wanna see these action figures smash, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Mystique's fighting
Yeah.
Yelena and then becomes Yelena. I'm like, "Yes, do it," you know?
Dude, yeah. Okay, you can quote me on this. I think this is gonna happen. I think they're gonna call back to her fight scene with Wolverine from X-Men 1. There's gonna be some exact
Mm,
moves in there. I think they're gonna do the same thing. It's gonna be obviously different weapons because it's not like hand claws, but I think she's gonna do the exact same move on Yelena that she did to Wolverine back in 2001 X-Men.
damn, that's hot. Rebecca Romaine back as freaking I cannot
I
wait.
know. Yeah.
Damn, it's so
Yeah.
good. And then the last thing, yeah, Doctor Doom catches Thor's Stormbreaker, and at some point Thor comes out and says that he has never feared an opponent more than Doctor Doom, and I think that it links back to what we were saying with Steve Rogers. I think it's his daughter is uh, at risk, and so I think it's like
Yeah.
all about protecting your kids and how much that elevates everything. And I think if we're looking at the generation that's been watching MCU, if you talked about like 2008 when this stuff first started to now, most of your audience that started with you back then now have kids and see the stakes in that. So I think there's a reason that they're leaning on this because it's like, you know what, this is the time to kind of bring that old generation sphere in. Yeah,
Yeah, 100%. I think it's gonna work really well on me. Like
of
it
course.
got me
Yeah,
in the Fantastic Four movie, and my kid wasn't even born yet.
yeah,
But I think what's cool about that fact of Stormbreaker being stopped by Doctor Doom is it's gonna do exactly what Infinity War did with Hulk and Thanos, where
yeah,
you watch Thanos just decimate the Hulk, and you're like, holy shit, how are they gonna stop this? If you have Thor, who's probably the most powerful, because we'll find out kind of what happened to Hulk in Spider-Man Brand
yeah,
New Day. If he's not around, Thor's the next strongest Avenger. At least, he thinks so.
yeah. He thinks
So
so.
if he gets stopped, what are they gonna do? Like, so I think it's a great way to kind of kick off the threat level for the movie.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Guys,
Mm.
let us know what you guys thought about all the stuff coming out of CinemaCon. I know we're running long on this, so we're gonna go ahead and start moving on to the next section here. But next year, all right, you and me, we're gonna be sitting at CinemaCon. Okay, that's what's gonna happen.
I
We're gonna
can't
make it
wait.
happen.
Yeah,
Are you going to San
I
Diego
want
Comic
to.
Con?
Yes, I am. Mhm.
Okay, let me know. We'll get more details about that later on. That'll be cool. Let's head over to our interview with Allan Dunford. You guys have heard Allan Dunford a lot. You heard him recently. This is a makeup interview because I, as an idiot, released his interview on accident too early on our podcast feed. So I was like, Allan, come back on the show. Let's talk about it again. Let's talk about it a different way. Because last time we talked a lot about like the indie comic book industry and stuff like that, different things like that. This one we're talking
Mm.
more about the book itself. And the day that this interview is coming out, guys, the day you're listening to this now, the book is available. So make sure you guys go check out the book now. It is so good. It's called Mostly Dead. It's a great story. Let's get into this interview. A group of friends' vacation turns into a terrifying, primal tale of horror and survival. Primate is now available on DVD, Blu-ray, and digital. I am with Allan Dunford, and we're going to be talking about his new comic book, Mostly Dead. How you doing today, Allan?
Hey, I'm doing great, and I'm so happy to finally be talking about this. We've been
Yeah.
working on this book for 11 days, and we just haven't really found the time to launch it. And then a lot of the stars kind of aligned, and now we're here.
Can you break down, give us a quick rundown of what Mostly Dead is?
No.
Okay, well, so
Yeah, what?
let me explain.
Yeah, so Mostly Dead, it follows the story of a boy named Nate who,
Yeah.
his parents die in a car wreck when he was very young, and then he becomes the ward of the state. And he's life in an orphanage. It's awful. He hates it. And then one day, while putting up books in a library, he discovers a hidden passage inside of the orphanage that leads to the Book of the Dead. And
Yeah.
inside of those pages, he finds out that he can bring his parents back.
Now, my question for you, first off, is what was the inspiration for this? Because we see some Evil Dead here with the Necronomicon.
Mhm.
I feel like there's some like maybe Lock and Key or maybe even Indiana Jones with some of this hidden passageway stuff. What were you pulling for this one?
So, this was something that Kit and I decided to do together.
Mhm.
He messaged me and he was wanting I think he was wanting like a fun, spooky story. And then we kind of were brainstorming a little bit, and then we came up with Mostly Dead. Um, and I think that this really takes my love for a lot of the claymation movies that I like, and
Oh,
and
there
it
it
throws
is.
it in there too, because of course I love Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite movies of all time is actually Paranorman.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of Paranorman in this because it's fun, it's quick, it's zany. And I also love the movie Monster House. I know that's not claymation, but that
That is a
that style,
good flick.
yeah, that,
Yeah.
that style kind of lends itself well to it. And dude, I love that movie. And I think the writing in it is just so much fun. It's so good. So yeah, man, like I said, it's just one of those things where I don't know. I think we're just able to marry all that stuff that we love together and just tell a fun and original story.
Bringing in Paranorman makes a bunch of sense because Dave Lentz, who did the coloring on this, the art, or the green glow that comes off of this
Mhm.
behind the bookshelf world, it just screams that, right? Right away,
Yeah.
it's like inviting and eerie. It's perfect. Really good.
Yep. Yeah, dude, again, like I just love those kind of stories because like, growing up, like I love the just I just love spooky stuff. Like Nightmare Before Christmas, that was, I watched that on repeat. And then again, able to take something like this now is just it's amazing.
Yeah. It definitely feels like it's got some horror tones in there, but also it's far warmer because, like, we have somebody like, Sister Sharon, who seems good.
Yeah.
Sister, no, I'm sorry, Sister Sharon's a jerk. Sister Clara seems good.
Mhm.
Uh, are we gonna kind of get a heartwarming story out of this too? Because it's a little bit of a mix of both.
Yeah, so it's going to be all right, so how do I explain this? I don't like being sad.
Fair enough. You
So,
write an
but
awful lot of like horror books for
yeah, yeah, yeah,
saying
I
that.
know. But
Yeah,
I don't like being sad, but like I could separate it whenever I feel like we need to tell like an engaging like story with, just downtrodden characters or whatever. But with Mostly Dead, like despite however the ending is for it and whatever the outcomes are that happens throughout the series, I still want to approach it with a lighthearted way, right? And I still
yeah,
want stuff to be bittersweet and everything. Like I said, like, this isn't so much a departure too from the stuff that Kit and I have already done together. Yeah, it's not as crazy as like some of the books like Cockhead, right?
yeah,
But it's so much fun, and I think that it's got a little charm to it that people will really connect with.
yeah. When you're telling this book, and it's a very first in a franchise, clearly going to be building up to a lot bigger
Mhm.
story. How do you judge how much you want to reveal? Like, what goes into that process of trying to build a character, build a world that's inviting but doesn't give away too much yet? Because it seems like for me, like as somebody who maybe would write a D&D campaign, I
Mhm.
would want to shove in more about the secrets behind the bookshelf.
Right,
But you
right.
got to temper yourself, right?
Yeah, 100%. So, I think that's one of the things that like that's the hardest for me as a writer. Especially with telling a story because like it's so funny. I was saying this before. I love slow burn stuff. Like I
Yeah.
love movies that are very atmospheric and they take a little bit to build up and then the meat of the story isn't until like the last like 20 minutes of the movie, right? Like
Yeah.
I
Coen
don't
Brothers
know. I just
style. Yeah.
yeah, I just love stuff like that. But like with my writing style, it's different from that because I don't want the reader to be bored, right? Or what I feel like they would be bored, right?
Right.
Because my name doesn't sell a book yet. Like I wish it would. I wish to be like a new Allan Dunford joint coming soon, and then everyone would just get on it. But like, still from where we're independent and we're still trying to capture as many eyes as we can and stuff. Like I feel like sometimes we just need to like go, right? Like so that's why I always try to take like the first like 8 to 12 pages and like we have a little bit of our world building and stuff and then we have a fun like okay so this is where we're going and then issue 2 I can really start getting into the lore behind stuff and issue 3 really develop it and stuff like
I was telling Squeaks about Cockhead, and
that. What a
uh,
sentence.
I know, right? And then we started talking about your comic book. But then
Yeah, yeah.
uh, I was telling him, oh, it's done by Allan Dunford. He's like, who's Allan Dunford? I was like, Pocus Hocus. Like, oh, I love that guy.
Okay.
So
Oh, hilarious. Okay.
maybe your name doesn't get there, but your books are still getting there.
Yeah,
So that's
the
good.
titles get there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. With this one, how are you wanting to making sure it's got its own identity compared to your other books? Because there are other books that you make that
Mhm.
are like the horror comedy genre, but
Right.
this one has that different vibe. How are you doing that?
Like I said, it's the charm with it. Like, the other books are really how do I word this? They're like gore focused, because like it's like that kind of
Yeah,
like
I see that.
that kind of like dark comedy, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
that
Like
that in
Grandma
the sense of
Chainsaw for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
Pocus Hocus, like there's a lot of action in Pocus, a lot of bloodshed, stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like, but it's still a funny story around everything. Um, but again, like with this one, like I just really wanted the narrative to be the main character of it.
Yeah.
Like, of course Nate is the main character, but I really wanted the story itself, if that makes sense, to be the real driving force and the mystery behind everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
with this one with Nate, and then we have sorry if I'm wrong. Is it Little Bites? Is the other one with the
Small
werewolf?
bites. Yeah.
Small Bites. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
You have these child characters coming in. Do you think that's being influenced by the fact that you're kind of a newer dad now? Are you starting to pull that
Dude,
in?
probably. And it's so funny too because like whenever Kit and I are developing a lot of this stuff, like I I think our heart both really aligned together with we love the idea of all ages books.
Yeah.
Especially pushing the limits of what all ages can be.
Mhm.
Because that's the thing, right? Like, yeah, this book may be very lighthearted and stuff, and 7 years like fans of Gravity Falls, right? May absolutely love this.
I was literally trying to think of that name earlier when we were trying to think of the animated.
Oh, that's
Gravity
so
Falls is what I was
funny.
looking for.
Yeah, so so like fans of Gravity Falls, right? Gravity Falls
Mhm.
is geared toward like TVY7, right? But dude,
Right.
I'm 36, and I think Gravity Falls is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like it's so it's like it's what you get out of it because we get to put like a little of the subtle humor and stuff like that in.
Yeah. Was there a moment when you were creating this that you realized that you had something bigger on your hands? Because I know that, like, I know you have so many things coming out of you,
Mhm.
but this one I feel like is really setting up a world that could be expanded upon.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about Great About Chaser, like that was clearly a four book
Mhm.
story. This
Yeah.
one feels like, oh no, this is an entirely new franchise. Did you realize that halfway through?
Yeah, so the original intention was to make this four books, which we will.
Okay.
But after we figured out where it's going to end, depending on feedback, reception, and stuff like this, that's one thing I love about writing in the fantasy genre so much, or the fantastical, is because it you could do so much with it. It's awesome.
Yeah, it definitely has an open-ended nature, and that
Mhm.
a lot of that goes to behind the bookshelf stuff. Um, there's a part in the book, I don't want to spoil anything, but clearly behind the bookshelf is something that's been established far before Nate got there,
Yeah.
and it feels like a lot of the powers that be at this orphanage are aware of it. Um, if you were to expand this world, would you want to go down the Nate Avenue, or would you want to see maybe if there's more going on with this orphanage?
I think I'd want to see both.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, just because of like how the book ends, it's one of those things where, um, again, we could keep going, right?
Yeah.
But I think really where it hit off that we could keep going with this thing is issue 2. Because the script for it's already done, and I remember after I finished writing it, like I was just so happy. It was one
Mhm.
of those things like sometimes whenever like I'm sure like whenever you make an article or you make a podcast or you have an interview, like as soon as it's over with, you're like, yeah, that was great.
Mhm.
Like I feel really good about that one. That's how I
Yeah.
felt about this.
Oh, isn't that great? That feels
Hmm.
good. That's cool.
Oh, it's a good feel. Oh, it's a good feeling.
Yeah. So we were supposed to have Kit with us, who's the artist on this
Hmm.
book. But Kit is up a hill. We learned. We were googling that term. Um, when you're working with Kit on this book, it's definitely not your guys' first book. But what kind of things did Kit wanted to bring to the table on this one?
Fun, unique experience, like everything he
Yeah.
does. Like Kit's mind. I would love to be in it for like half a second, right? Because the stuff that he sends me comes up with the covers he does, like how fast he works. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, and it's so great for us to have Comic Soup together because I just really get to see I get to see a lot of the stuff firsthand, man. And God, it's just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to shift over to Comic Soup actually, because yeah, Kit is your partner in crime with this one.
Mhm.
Uh, what was your guys' goal with Comic Soup? Why do you guys need to start a new publishing house?
Well, I think the whole idea behind it though is we wanted to just do something for ourselves, right? We wanted to take
Mhm.
all the titles that like we were brainstorming together and just throw them together to make something just fun, unique, and just really try to marry how crazy both of our brains are together
Yeah.
into one little platform.
So do you guys want to expand beyond just you and Kit? Do you want to bring on other writers and artists?
Yeah. So when it comes to other writers, we're actually working with another one already on a book.
Okay.
So I'll leave that up to later. But as far as
Right.
like other artists are concerned, we never talked about it just because I think that as of right now anyway, Kit just wants to leave it just simple, right? As few
Mhm.
people as involved as possible, especially in the starting up process, because we don't want it to get too muddy or to figure out like we can't do this or we can't.
What's the hardest part? That's the thing is like when you're starting things out, you guys are already so busy, both of you. What's the hardest part about starting this new, adventure together?
Yeah, finding your audience, right? Like,
Okay.
there are people that are fans of Kit, and there are people that are fans of the titles of my books. But with that though, and I'm happy to announce they put it in their newsletter not too long ago. Bad Bug actually picked us up as an imprint for them.
Oh
So
wow,
so we're
that's
working in
really cool.
collaboration with them. Yeah, so that way we can hopefully try to reach a bigger audience and really just hammer it in, man.
Yeah. We're big fans of Bad Bug around here, so I'm always glad that people are working with
Mhm.
them still, and that is it is a incredible move.
Yeah.
Uh, with the indie comic scene, I mean, it feels like it's really kind of on the rise, and it has its own beast and stuff like that. Is there anything in particular that you're happy that you're still in the indie comic, or that you're sticking with the indie comic world? Because I feel like we're starting to see out of Marvel and DC these factory prints, right? Things that are
Mhm.
just like, oh yeah, it's cookie cutter, yada yada yada. What is it that you're trying that you feel indie is strongest at?
Um, no limits, right? Like
Okay.
you can make an idea as crazy or as tame as you want it to be, and that's beautiful. The other thing that I love about working in the indie space is collaborating, right?
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I have my role here, another person has their role there, but like being able to ask for help or see what you do well versus what you're not doing, and what you could be doing better on. I mean, that's awesome. And the way that like you can get feedback from people is just so good because you don't have to jump through the hoops to try to like make sure you're not breaking because you are your own NDA, right?
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not an email chain that's just bouncing
Yeah,
around. You're waiting for
100%.
some dude from PR and
Yeah.
another dude from HR. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So going back to Mostly Dead, we have the campaign coming out today. Yep, this
Mhm.
episode's out. The campaign started today. What are some of the things that you're wanting to give off as perks for this thing? Because campaigns are incredible and there's all kinds of really cool tiers. But I know that you're always pretty creative with these.
Mhm. Yeah, so with this one, of course, we always do the a la carte system, but something that we're trying a little bit differently is we're actually doing discounted rates on all the covers if you add them. So
Oh, cool.
instead of, a variant cover be, $15 for an artist. So instead of that, it's a couple dollars cheaper if you add it. So that way
Yeah.
it doesn't kind of feel like we're pressuring you into getting anything. So something that we're also doing right now, is we're actually doing art prints this time. So we did it with Horus 3 and it worked out great. So we're doing it with this one. So we're taking cover A and cover E that Kit's done, and they are full
Mhm.
art prints. So they're 11 by 17s, and they're beautiful.
When you and Will first started out making comic books together,
Mhm.
what have you learned about this like Kickstarter, economy that you guys are now
Yeah.
pretty active in?
It's just as stressful as it was launching Pocus
Yeah.
1 as it is launching my 20th, 30th title, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
It's always super stressful.
Do you still feel like Kickstarter is the answer though? Because I think that's kind of just it's a place where people go
Yeah,
for creative comics.
I do. I really like it. Like I like the platform. I think it does well. I mean, in a perfect world, we get to a point that we're past Kickstarter and we have our Comic Soup website and people could just go and pre-order the book on there. So now we don't have a middleman anymore. We're the direct supplier and stuff. But
Yeah.
as of right now, man, like it's worked out really well for us, and I don't want to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, I mean, Todd McFarlane, I think, has a pretty good name in comic books, and he still uses Kickstarter all the time. So it's
Yeah,
definitely not something that's about a size thing. It's just
yeah,
about a different distribution model.
yeah,
And so, yeah, you're in good company with Todd McFarlane, I
yeah.
think. I'm over here trying to pick up every Spawn cover I can.
hmm
Uh, let's close out with some rapid fire questions. You down for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so here we go. If you had to describe Mostly Dead in one sentence to someone at a comic shop, what would you say?
Um, Paranorman meets Monster House, but worse.
But worse.
Yeah.
If if Comic Soup could publish absolutely anything, no
Ooh.
limitations, what would you love to make next?
Oh my God. Like an existing title or something?
Doesn't even need to be a comic book.
Oh God. Oh, Frank, why would you do that? Dude, I would actually really like to do. Oh my God, Frank, I don't know. That question's tough. I wasn't ready for that one. Um, you know what? God, I wish Kit were here for this. Um,
So do I, because half my outline is for Kit.
No, you know what? Yeah, you know what I would like to do? I would like for Comic Soup to do a one-off spin-off of a Dragon Ball Z story or Dragon Ball Super.
Oh my
There,
god.
I said it.
Yeah.
We could have a lot of fun with that.
And you know what? That just kind of sparks something. I think it would be really cool to make a D&D campaign set in your universes.
Yeah. Oh, dude, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
God,
Diving
imagine
deeper into hell and stuff like that, making deals.
And then there's a chicken with a like a Glock running around. So yeah.
His eyes, by the way, Cockhead's eyes are so, this sentence is really weird, but they're so disturbing when you're reading that book and you're just being like, his eyes are like over here and you're like, I would never want to be around this dude ever.
Yeah, I know. Creepy. Yeah.
And then lastly, if you were to pick a mascot amongst all of your characters for your brand, which one would it be?
For me, it'd be Horus. And
it has to be Horus, of course.
And I think for Kit, it probably would be Cockhead, just because like that thing is it's so funny. It's so
yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing a crossover of those two.
Okay. Spoiler. All right. Cockhead 2 and Horus 4. The plan is to launch them at the same time. We already have a crossover print available.
Sweet.
That's already done. So
just the cover alone is gonna be really cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Allan, I always love chatting with you, of course. And I thank you for joining me today. I want to make sure everybody goes to the description right now and check out right now for Mostly Dead. You guys could join the campaign now, and then once you buy a copy of the comic, you can also get the digital copy and add it to panels. We've talked about panels before in the past. I literally read this comic book on panels, testing it out, and it worked great. So make sure you guys are checking out Mostly Dead in the description. Allan, thank you again for joining me today. I appreciate it, man.
Hey, dude, always so glad to be here. Thank you so much.
All right, that is, again, Allan Dunford. The book is in the description, guys, available today. We are such big fans of Allan, obviously, and yeah, we love him. Let's get through the network right now. Distance Nerding is got some coverage from FandomCon. You guys have definitely seen some stuff from FandomCon on your feeds, I'm sure. They were there. They're going to tell you the details of actually what happened, and yeah, make sure you guys check that out.
No laughing, Frank.
It wasn't a great con. It wasn't a great con, and these guys made the very best of it. And so yeah, it's interesting. Over at Outlast Podcast, we're talking episode 8, and the demise of Dragon Slayer. He's finally down. I hate that guy. So that was a really good episode. Season 50 of Survivor might be one of its best seasons ever. It's well. Fandom Portals is talking about the best Spider-Man, and they are wrong.
Did he say Andrew Garfield?
Yes.
I knew it. He's an Andrew Garfield. That's a hot take.
That's a hot take. But they have a very good defense for it, I will say. But I don't like the fact that he's like, my least favorite's Tom Holland. I'm like, well, now we have to fight.
So. Yeah. All right, that's interesting. That is quite the interesting take.
Yeah. And then a last reminder by the way, the rest of the network, we have podcasts that are like happening, some that are on archive, a couple that are in development. It's a light time for the network, so it's been good for us, really, frankly. For Geek Freaks, just a reminder that we're going to be at the Retro Cordova Convention on May 2nd, and then on May 9th, we're going to be at the Capital Creative Showcase. You can get those tickets for the Capital Creative Showcase for only $10. Come see me on stage doing panels. You can get that for $10 if you use code Geek Freaks. Let's end things off with our recommendation. What's your recommendation for the week?
Beef. No.
Beef. Go watch Beef.
No. Yeah. Okay. I'm curious about this. Okay, Euphoria is back, and Hacks actually, as far as I know, did start.
Did it start already? Okay, I wasn't sure if it was starting or starting.
Yeah, I think Hacks season 4 just started, so we got I think an episode or 2 episodes to go watch. And then yeah, I've already talked about Beef. Yeah, what about you?
Have you seen Euphoria before?
Yeah. I fell off for a while. I mean, there's so much controversy around the season, and then having so many actors that passed away. I'm curious to see how they deal with that. Also, Marshawn Lynch is in it, so I gotta watch it.
I'll watch it for that. I love me some Marshawn Lynch, actually. Yeah, he's dope.
Yeah.
All right, my recommendation for the week is actually you had mentioned it on TikTok at some point, so I know you already seen it. But I love the first season of Jury Duty, and I didn't think they could do it again, but they did. With Jury Duty Company Retreat, and it's fantastic. Go watch it.
It is, right?
Yes.
Did you watch the whole thing?
Oh yeah, I did. Of course I did. Yeah. It's so
Oh,
good.
God, that guy is just such a sweetheart. Like,
What a
what a
sweetheart,
nice
dude.
human being.
Yeah. How,
Yeah, just
dude?
like I want to be friends with him.
Did it break you? It broke me. I'll be honest. Did it break you when the old lady talked? Not, I don't want to say old lady, but she's the older lady. But she
Yeah,
was just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
first off, saying like they always push us aside, and then later on when she whispered to him, like, if I had a son, I want him to be like you. I'm like, oh my
Oh my, yeah. Okay,
god.
for those of you who don't know, we're gonna
Shatter.
end with this. Okay, she's been an actress for a long time in Hollywood, like decades,
Yeah.
right? And she barely got any roles. And she's like, now that I'm like older, and like she's got all white hair and everything, she's like, they don't want to like cast me in anything. And he's like, you gave me another opportunity, and you never like talked down to me. You just accepted me because, funny enough, he doesn't know she's an actor. He's just treating her like a coworker.
Yeah.
And he was so sweet, encouraging her, and like the veil came off, the mask was off, like she was
Oh yeah.
just being honest, like thank you. And man, that choked me up for sure. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God,
And then when
what
you
a
look back at
guy.
it, like they did a clip of kind of showing back to the, and it's like, oh yeah, they both put the little like the watch on the the grandma, the rocking grandma, and it was like, oh, that's a
Yeah,
fun little prank they were both doing and stuff. Like, God, they just picked the right people. Like the first season too is so
they
good. I didn't
do.
think they could beat the first season, frankly.
Me too.
But
Me too.
they did it. I don't think I would do good. I don't think I would be fooled because I'm too chronically online or chronically into the entertainment business. So I recognize
Yeah,
like
yeah.
5 of those actors where I'm like, oh yeah, you're from Veep, you're
Oh,
from, I've seen you from this, I've seen you from that. So it wouldn't work on
okay.
me, but still it's just so neat how well they do. And I will say
We
one more thing too. The fact that that
yeah.
final episode is all production stuff, that's such a good editing choice. What a great
That is
choice.
cool. That was a great choice for that. You're so right. And then he just showed like all the cast and crew coming out. Man, that was yeah. So it was so funny. So speaking of that though, we tried to prank my dad. Like everybody knew besides my dad, I thought, like what the show was about because he like left the room when I was explaining everything.
Oh,
And
cool.
I was like, everybody just pretend like this is just a documentary. Like, don't say
Yeah.
anything about the actors. And then he's like, this isn't real, right? And we're like, no, it is. What do you mean it's totally real? He's like, they're just like, that guy's so stupid. He was like, the
Yeah.
blonde hair, the son. He was like, that guy's too stupid. There's no way he's real. I'm like, he reminded us, or like, he reminded me of this old coworker we used to have. I was like, he's just like Jeff, man. Like, just like Jeff. What are you talking about? Jeff would say that. He's like, I guess, like, and
Yeah.
he's like, no, he's like, is this The Office? And we're like, no. And then I explained to him because and so he figured it out. But yeah, I wonder, like, you need the perfect person who's just enough gullible and still super willing to help, you know?
Yeah, and I think there's I think that's what they're looking for the most because they said like 2,000 applications for the
Oh,
reality show that is the
more like
actual retreat. And,
oh
but
yeah, yeah,
but I bet when
yeah,
they're going through those, that's what they're looking for. Somebody who's like so generally just a nice guy kind of thing that they'll plug
yeah,
right into this world and believe it.
totally.
Because like yeah, the guy that was giving this though that was the one that was like this guy's an actor I know for sure. The one that like climbed Everest and lost his balls. I'm like I've seen him in a million things.
Oh
So
really?
yeah. He's
Oh
on Curb
shoot.
Your Enthusiasm and he's on Arrested Development. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I because I saw them after and I was like, he did look familiar, but I couldn't pin him anywhere. But if I
Yeah.
saw somebody talking about like I had to freeze my nuts even
Yeah.
colder to like 4 degrees frostbite, not 3 degrees
Yeah.
frostbite, whatever, it's that was so ridiculous. Like, yeah, and like I loved it because in the last episode they're cutting to everybody who is actually
Dying
seeing,
laughing. Yeah.
and they all have to like act serious about it. It was so
Oh.
good. That
Well,
show
this
is
is the best
phenomenal.
damn advertisement for a jury duty company retreat ever, guys. Prime, pay us
100%.
for this one. Come on.
Seriously,
Oh,
seriously, this
cool.
is its own clip. This is bonus
Yeah.
content right here.
Oh, God, I might have to rewatch that too. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. I know this was a long one. That's just how it is sometimes. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye.
All right, well.